Hey guys, I hope you're doing well today. I know I mentioned several times that I wanted to do a Project Pan Q&A video, and then I hosted my ColourPop giveaway, and for the entry you could either put a video idea or you can put a Project Pan Q&A question. So I got a lot of my questions from there. If you have any questions for me that I didn't answer in this video, you can please leave them down below and I will get to them because I would love to film another Project Pan Q&A. I'm going to be answering 10 questions, and I believe the first 6 are pretty much ones that a lot of people were asking, so I don't have any specific names to go along with these questions because it was asked so many times. The first question I have here is, who were the first Project Panners that you ever watched? And the two that come to mind are Pretty Pistol 86 and Amber F. Amber F started Pan That Palette, and I've been watching Pretty Pistol 86 for years. I think I've been watching them for both about the same time. I know Amber F is definitely well known for her Pan That Palette, and then Pretty Pistol 86 or Cherish, she does a ton of different project pans, and I'm so jealous of her ability to pan lip products. They are both awesome. I'll have them linked down below, but those are the two that come to mind when I talk about my first two project panners that I ever watched. The next question is, what was the hardest thing you've ever panned, and then what was the easiest thing you've panned? And I would say for the hardest was definitely my Too Faced Naturalized palette, because that was my first Pan That palette ever, and it took me over a year to finish it. I had it 1 year solely for my Pan That palette, and then I moved it into another year, and I think I finished it within like 6 months of the next year. That took me forever, and I didn't wear makeup as much as I do now. So panning a palette in my first year project panning was pretty difficult, but I'm very happy I finished that palette because I was the oldest in my collection at the time. And for easiest, I would definitely say like foundations, black eyeliners, mascaras, etc. I mean, those are the items that I use every day and I don't have that much of a preference for. Or at least in my foundations, I have my favorites and I use them every day pretty much. And then mascaras and eyeliners, I kind of just go back and forth. I don't really have like a major preference for them, and I feel like I can go through them pretty quickly. The next question is, what is your least favorite product to pan, and then what is your favorite product to pan? So honestly, for my least favorite, I would have to say lip products. I feel like I reapply them somewhat frequently. I don't like reapply them like 20 times throughout the day, so I don't really go through them as quickly as other people, but lip products are definitely hard for me to pan, so they're my least favorite because I feel like I'm not as good at it. But for my favorite item to pan, I would definitely say eyeshadows, and I'm probably the odd one out here, but I feel like I can go through eyeshadows very quickly, and I like kind of doing the same look throughout my work week or playing with different colors like I am today on my snow day because I did not go to work today due to the roads. And I just like playing with color when I can, but I'm fine with doing the same look or a very similar look with certain eyeshadows during the week, which is how I can get through them so quickly. I just love panning eyeshadows. I feel like it is my strong suit of panning. Number 4 is, what or who inspired you to start project panning? And honestly, nothing really in particular. I just started watching the videos and I just wanted to do it. I had a very small collection at the time. I didn't even wear foundation when I first started panning. Now it's a little bit different. I definitely wear a lot more makeup, but I just wanted to pan at the time. Like, I didn't really care because I knew I had a very small collection, but I just thought project panning was fun, and it kind of gave me the excuse to try new products at the time because my collection was so small, and when I would finish something, I'd have room to put something else in. This one is a 3-parter, so it is, how long do you think you'll project pan for until you have a collection that's down to your desired size? Or do you think you will ever stop project panning? And I think I'll be project panning for a very long time. Like I said in my what I love and hate about project panning video, project panning is just ingrained into my brain now. I incorporate it into other aspects of my life. Like I said, I pan pens, and I just don't see myself stopping anytime soon or ever really, because I like to get my use out of my products. And honestly, a lot of people ask me like why I project pan, or do you think you'll project pan until you have your collection at the right size? But I feel like my collection's already at the right size. I've never had a large collection. I never felt like I had a shopping addiction. Now I feel like I've been buying more makeup because I've just been wanting to. I have a higher income now, so I want to play with my makeup a little bit more and just try new things. But I feel like I've been pretty smart with my purchases. I don't think I have a huge collection where I need to project pan everything, but I also just like project panning, so that's why I do it. Now onto the questions that were pretty much only asked by one person. This question was asked by Jasmine Holmes, and her question was, how do you have the self-control to not buy all of the palettes? And I think this question is so funny, but it's hard. I try to just compare the palettes that are coming out that I want with the palettes that I currently have. Like, I'm really tempted by the Anastasia Soft Glam palette, but I know I have all those colors in my collection. I might pick it up. Also, I definitely recommend kind of shopping your stash and swatching your eyeshadows that you currently have to dupe another palette that you're wanting. I haven't personally done that, but I kind of just go through my shadows and go through the ones I haven't used in a while and just kind of play with them that way. I know Thrifty Beauty always does her anti-hauls on certain palettes, and she will dupe the palettes pretty much much exactly with her Coastal Scents eyeshadow, so you can definitely check out her channel and her video. I would say just try to be kind of reasonable with yourself. If you want it, like, I would say a month or so after you have already thought about it, then maybe purchase it, but I wouldn't recommend impulse purchasing, especially palettes, because they take forever to pan. Rachel Winters asked, how many projects are good to do at the same time? And this honestly is up to you. If you're newer to project panning, I would recommend 1 to 2 very small projects and kind of go from there. I would definitely recommend seasonal project pans that have maybe like 5 each, because then you can kind of work in your makeup with the season, or you can just have a smaller amount of products to work on. Larger project pans are definitely harder, and more frequent project pans, say if you have like 4 or 5 going on at once, you probably won't be using up as many products as you would if you only did a couple of them at once. But honestly, depends on the person. I prefer to pretty much always do a pan that palette. I like doing a seasonal project pan and possibly another one. So currently I have a pan that palette, project pan porn, I kind of group that in one, and then I also have a finish 8 by Easter, which will be ending soon, a project 10 pan, and then a project polish. So I currently have 4 or 5 if you want to count the project pan porn projects going on right now, but I've been panning for a few years now. I found out what works for me. So you kind of just have to determine what would work best for you, but like I said, it's really your personal preference on how many you want to do at once. I really enjoyed this question because I love panning eyeshadows, and this was asked by Makayla's Beautiful Life. She asked, what are your favorite eyeshadow formulas to pan, and then what are your least favorite eyeshadow formulas to pan? I would say my favorite are probably Anastasia and ColourPop too. Some of their mattes for ColourPop are so hard pressed and they are harder to pan, but I've panned a lot of shades from the Anastasia Self-Made palette. I am almost done with the Anastasia Single in Pink Champagne. So honestly, I prefer to pan and also just use in general softer eyeshadow formulas because I feel like they just blend better for me. And I feel like the hardest eyeshadow formula to pan is definitely MAC. MAC I feel like are so hard to pan because they're just so hard pressed, and I feel like they're a little bit drier of a formula. They're still pretty good eyeshadows. They're not necessarily my favorite anymore because one, I can't purchase them, and 2, I just like other brands better. But yeah, Anastasia and ColourPop easiest for me. MAC is the hardest. The last question was asked by Linda Parada, and she asked, how do you get through colors when you are tired of them? And honestly, I wear my more like panning products during the work week. Weekends, I will play with color. I'm off today because I took off, but I decided to play with some color today. And also when I'm filming, I like to wear more fun makeup than just like my everyday neutral eye look because I just feel like it's more fun for videos. I think it's definitely necessary to play with some of your eyeshadows and your other products every once in a while. I personally do it around 1 to 2 days a week. Even when I'm playing with other shadows on the weekends, I usually will still pull in a shadow or 2 from my Pan That Palette or Project Pan Porn. And then my other products, like my face products and like my color-based products, I don't really care if I use the same ones every day. For eyeshadows, I get a little bit more bored, but for most of my other products, I'm fine using them every day. I feel like what works best for me is using my Project Pan items during the work week and playing for my 2 days on the weekend because I do wear makeup every day and I feel like I can still get through products that way. So that is the end of this Project Pan Q&A. I definitely plan on doing more in the future. If you have any questions for me, please leave them down below. And thank you to everyone who asked me questions and entered my giveaway. I really, really appreciate it. I'd love to know your answers to some of my questions, so also please leave them down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Talk to you later. Bye.